Welcome to the Hill Country Nation Sports Wrap Up here on this nice, beautiful Thursday evening. Last day of June, if you can believe that already. Which only means that when June is over, it's just another day and a month closer to August. All right. Hey, got some good things coming up here for you today. We're gonna have JC3 Trey Collis is also going to be joining us today, but we got a special treat here for you a little bit here in just a second with Jeremy Hickman, the head coach, athletic director over in Fort Stockton. And around here in the Hill Country, Mr. Intensity is a big thing around here still today. So it'd be good. We're going to have some fun talking to him and just kind of going from there as well. I wanted to kind of run down some quick news and everything, just in case you hadn't heard. Rock Springs has now hired John Pena in for Sean Berry, as Sean Berry had stepped down there. Of course, Johnson City with Nelson Cordes. He's in for David T-Sign, who finally decided to go ahead and retire after all these years. We had the pleasure of interviewing him when he was in Bandera, Sonora, and Johnson City. I think he's the only coach we've ever had with three different teams there. David T-Sign, Blanco. Hey, Bill Tesh, he is down in Randolph now. He went to Randolph, leaving Blanco, but Jamie Dixon stepping in and already hooking us up with merch, man. So Jamie Dixon, he's on our A side there. Hondo, another coach in Hondo. It's like the fifth coach in 6 years. And Dustin Templin now will be in for Joe Del Carey. Center Point, Mario Lockie. Man, this is going to be a good one for Center Point. The defensive coordinator for quite some time there. Was under Bubba Walters' wing for a little bit. He's in now in Center Point. And that's pretty much from around the Hill Country. But also big news, the Allen Eagles hire Lee Wigginton. Now that's a name around the Hill Country here, as you know, with he in Comfort. And so we've had the pleasure back in the day. So anyway, Lee Wigginton gone from 2A schools all the way up now to 6A Allen. So congratulations there with you new coaches. All right, you know what? Enough about all that. That's not what we're here for. We're here for the one of the big guns, and that's Trey Collis.
Wow, big guns, huh? Dude, that intro was bad A, but where's me? I mean, I'm behind the scenes making you look good all the time on this Hill Country Nation.
We'll have to work that out. I just did that in like not even 20 minutes, I guess.
Now you're bragging. Now you're bragging.
I'm bragging. Hey, sometimes I can. Sometimes I can't. No. Hey, we want to really introduce you to the big gun now for the Fort Stockton Panthers. He is the new athletic director and head football coach. He is back in his hometown. It's all about the Panthers, baby. Let's welcome now Jeremy Hickman of the Fort Stockton Panthers. What's up, big gun?
Hello, JR. Hello, Trey. Good to see you guys, man. I've been looking forward to this all day. The Hill Country Nation has really expanded into just kind of as you kind of alluded to, like a statewide deal. So this is a big deal for me. And so I'm excited to be able to talk about our kids, our community, and everything that's going on in the city of Fort Stockton.
Well, I appreciate that. As we were talking earlier in the week, it's like we never expected this, man. We just started following small schools and stuff like that. And then, when we got you, when you was our softball head coach over in Tybee, you kind of said some things that kind of fired me up, and so with that inspiration that you gave me, it's like, man, just keep rolling with it. Keep rolling with it. Hey, first of all, congratulations for becoming the new athletic director and head football coach. It's not only just, a new position. This is your first as a athletic director and head coach football.
That's right. And it's an exciting time, and I'm excited to kind of learn on the fly, when it comes to this side of the desk, so to speak. And, I have nothing but I've had great mentors, going up through coaching and being able to prepare me for this position. And, Coach David Jones in Kerrville did a great job really mentoring me and getting me prepared for that. Coach Bush, Coach Travis Bush at Canyon did a great job of really teaching some cultural things and did a good job of helping me see some things. And so all that has come into play, 18, 19 years of being in this profession to being able to put in and get the job that I've always wanted to. And here I am. And so it's kind of surreal. It's a blessing. And, I'm kind of living the dream coaching the Panthers and the Prowlers here in Fort Stockton.
Okay. Now you interviewed for the job. You were, did you realize at that point that you definitely had it, or was there still some butterflies and maybe a little doubt?
No, there was a lot of uncertainty. When you interview, you just never know. And there was a couple of interviews. There was a process to kind of go through to get to the final interview, and you get to the final interview and you go through that procedure. And a little later, Dr. Zamora called our superintendent for Stockton and presented me the job, and it kind of caught me off guard, and I had to gather my composure for a second because it almost made me tear up a little bit. I was so excited, and it was just a surreal moment for me, and before I accepted it. But the whole process was just a great experience for me, and it was just surreal, and I couldn't be more excited.
You and Desi were raised there in Fort Stockton. Both of you guys graduated there. You visited there every so often. 23 years later, bam, you're back home. Has things changed a little bit around Fort Stockton since you were, running around and who knows what you were doing when you were in high school?
No, it has changed. And Desi and I have really enjoyed our time being back here. And as we come back and we're kind of relearning the city, a lot of it's the same, but there's some of it that's different. So you can't recognize some of the things that we kind of grew up around. I'll tell you, though, the kids here are still as hardworking as ever. The boys and girls are really working hard, and that's what Fort Stockton is known for, just hardworking, a hardworking culture. And the kids here are exactly like I remember when I was here, and it's been it's been inspiring to see them work every day. It's been awesome.
Okay, now you replaced Mike Peters, who went 9-3 last year, and playoff berth.
That's right.
And now you're coming in, you've got some experience and stuff like that. Motivation?
Coach Peters did a great job, and he really did a great job of really turning the culture around of the program over his 6 years being here. And he, last year again, they were 9-3 and they made the playoffs, got in the second round of the playoffs, which was huge for Fort Stockton for them to win that playoff game. But on our end of it, it's not a compare situation with us. We're just going to do the very best we can for our kids, and we're going to coach as hard as we can for as long as it takes to make sure our kids are as best they can be. And so I don't think there's the motivation doesn't come from anything other than just the love for the kids.
I'm going to ask one more, and then I'm going to let Trey kind of chime in here. But 19 years of coaching experience to include NCAA Division II over in Western New Mexico. And then you have coached 3A through 6A. Now, most, if not all of that's been more your forte with defense. Are you ready to hand over the defensive playbook?
No. I wouldn't say I'm not ready. I said I am ready for that to happen. But, as of right now, they're still running our stuff. They're still running the stuff that we ran at Woods, that we run at Tivy, that we ran at Canyon, and those 6A programs, 5A programs. We're still running our stuff. The experience has been primarily on defensive and special teams oriented. I did coach a year of wide receivers 1 year. And, and we have a great offensive coordinator here, and we've kind of changed some things around. Coach Jet Norman has done a great job of incorporating some things that I really want to see with our offense. And it's been fun to kind of learn that side of it and be more involved with it, I guess, and making sure in the day-to-day operations that everything is moving the direction that we want it to. But when it comes to the defensive side of the ball, our coaches, we're going to get after it, and we're going to run like maniacs to the football like we're known for. We're going to be physical. And it's going to be the stuff that you've seen in the past. It's just going to be a different logo on the helmet. But we're going to look the same. We're going to get after folks, and we're going to have a lot of fun doing it. We're going to be intense. We're going to be passionate, and we're going to enjoy each other when it comes to the defensive side of it.
You got a question, Trey? Because I got a whole lot of stuff here.
I know you do. You can talk for 3 hours. First off, I want to say congratulations, finally getting this great opportunity, especially in your hometown of Fort Stockton. If people don't know where that is, that's about 3 hours south of El Paso, or north of El Paso. I'm sorry, middle of nowhere. But it's like I used to play. Like I said, I played in Ozona and stuff like that. And I played for. You're talking about the Panther pride that they had. I can tell you from the crowd brings it every night. That town loves football. They shut down Friday nights. That they bring the energy, they bring everything. So you're in a good place. I just want to say congratulations on finally getting your goal. And even though I am kind of mad at you and your wife, because me and my wife are looking for a house, and I need a realtor, and she's gone.
No, so she's still working in Kerrville. She's still working.
Is. Yeah, okay. She's still there. Hit her up.
She's still there. Yep. Yes. Her and Holly are still working stuff right now.
Good.
So
good. No, I just want to know, like, being a first-time head coach, like, I know, like you, JR said, giving the defense away, but at the same time, you're still going to have the overall say of the defense. That you're still running the same scheme, everything like that. But just talk about what you're going to bring to this Fort Stockton Panther that they probably haven't seen before, and what a Jeremy Hickman football team is actually going to look like for these Panthers.
Well, the one thing is we're going to be high energy, and we're going to be very encouraging and very positive. But as the day-to-day things have gone on, we've started to slowly implement the camaraderie and the unity as a secret concept that we're going to be talking about, the always compete mentality, the relentless effort, and the fight. We break out Panthers fight, and we try to reiterate being tough. And so when you watch our brand of football, it's going to be fast, it's going to be physical, and it's going to be exciting. Our kids are going to be amped up. They're going to play with a lot of passion and a lot of positivity, and they're going to love each other. And that's going to bleed into what we're trying to build here. And it's a big unified front for the city of Fort Stockton. So not only in football, but being able to incorporate the volleyballs, the basketballs. We want to incorporate everybody. So we're trying to build a unified concept here. And it's going to take a little time. But what you're going to see from us is reaching out and doing everything we can to fight for each other and for all programs. And so it's been exciting. And just like if you guys see us on social media today, we had a big picture. We had all the guys and girls working out together, and they took a picture together. We want them to understand that we're Panthers and Prowlers, and we're fighting for our community, doing it together. So you're going to see some changes offensively and defensively a little bit, but you're going to see a big cultural shift on being very unified and being involved across the board, and the football players being involved with all of other sports, and then other sports learning to all work together.
You lose a quarterback with Dominic Aguilar to graduation. Man, he was a key element for you guys last year, especially in the playoff run. 22 rushing touchdowns, averaging 146 rushing yards, 14 passing touchdowns. I mean, the list goes on and on. However, you got a couple of studs that are coming up and, coming back, and of course, maybe some others. But now you got senior Adrian Hernandez, who's crazy, and the junior Marco Garcia.
Right.
And you got some other potential fighting quarterbacks fighting to be a starter. I know it's early and everything, but what do you like about some of these guys right now?
Well, I'm going to tell you, Dominic was a great player. I mean, he played, not only was he a good quarterback, he played safety for him too. The guy played both ways and really got after it. So he is a big piece that we're going to have to replace on both sides of the football. But Marco and Adrian have been competing, and they've been working hard each day. Both of them bring a little bit different game. And so we're just going to have to get into these game situations, into practice, to where the bullets are flying, and see which one really kind of takes a hold of the competition. But both of them bring something different to the table. That they both have positive skill sets, and they understand that, and they use them to their advantage. It's been fun to watch.
Defensively, last year, your 3 juniors led the team in tackles, which is amazing and awesome. So now you get those 3 back. And on top of that, I was going to say, you have Isaiah Garcia, who led the team, not only, with 4 interceptions, he had 10 touchdowns on the offensive side, 8 of them catching and stuff. And you got the Iron Man right there in Isaiah Garcia.
Isaiah did a good job scoring a lot of points for them last year. But what it also, you're not going to see the stats, is that he did a great job covering. He's a good cover guy. He's a corner that I know in the Monahan's game last year, watching film, they had some issues, and then they were able to put Isaiah on their top receiver, and he did a good job of defending that guy who had scored some touchdowns on him early. And I'll tell you, towards the end of the game, it went into overtime, but Isaiah had a blocked a knockdown pass in the end zone to keep it tied game 21-21 going into the overtime. Mm-hmm. But as you said, there is some great looking linebacker kids and defensive linemen and some secondary kids that, as we've gone through, our skill sessions in the summer to watch them move around. I have not seen these guys play in pads, and that goes for any of them. I've seen the film, but in reality, I have not had my eyes on them in pads. So when we get started in August, we get to that, get to that 5th, 6th practice where we're in pads. That's when we're going to start to see, what these guys bring to the table. But I will tell you, the skill side of it, these kids have really worked hard and learning new schemes and learning new stuff. They've worked they've done a good job picking it up on our end of it. And I'm happy with the progression that we've made. It would be nice to be further along in June/July tomorrow. It would be nice to be further along, but it is what it is. We're at where we're at, and we're just going to keep plugging away and get after it.
I'm going to ask one more thing, and then I'm going to let Trey interject. I can see he's all beating out the chomps right there.
No, I'm looking at stuff. I'm looking at
special things. Watching the NBA while we're talking to Jeremy. Hey, looking over last year's team, what I was seeing was that with that Ironman football players returning this year, who they showed relentless effort just on the field last year, and with that, what is Fort Stockton Panthers' motto this year for 2022?
Relentless effort. It's always compete and be tough. There's several things that we're really hanging our hat on. Relentless effort, always compete, and being tough. And what we mean by being tough, we've taught the kids is about mentally being tough, not physically. That comes along with being the more mentally tough you are, the more physically tough you are. Mm-hmm. Understanding that hard things are going to come in front of us, and we've got to be able to attack those things. And that's just a life lesson. Life is not easy. Life's relentless. And how do you beat relentless things? You be more relentless. And so that's what we're trying to teach them: the relentless effort, relentless fight, and just being tough-minded and being able to accept challenges. But the brand of football that we're going to put out there is going to be tough, physical, and we're going to get after folks. And they did a great job. They ran to the football like crazy last year. So I expect it to be the same concept here when it comes to the defensive side of it. But offensively, we're going to get after as well and be just as physical.
I love that relentless effort. And I mean, that's like plastered. I bet you'll have that plastered everywhere. Huh?
Dude, we're getting it.
Nice.
Relentless effort and relentless fight, man. We're going to get after it.
Man, I just want to know if Coach Hickman is writing a book or something, because your motivational tweets in the morning, Facebook, whatever the case may be, you get me like, I want to get out and play football, and I'm 36 years old, but like just seeing your videos and everything, that like, oh my God, like the way you talk and the way you uplift the kids, I was like, dang, I wish I played for you, but whatever. Let's talk a little bit about your district, new district this year. UIL made new districts and everything like that. You got Monahan, you got Fabian, just talk about how tough this district is, and if people who don't know, like El Paso teams and stuff like that. I mean, everyone thinks that El Paso's pushover schools a lot of times and don't really know for football, but they're coming along and they're getting a lot of recruits. Just talk about how difficult, as right now, this district is going to be.
Well, first off, we did get moved west to an El Paso district, which is a lot of travel for us. I know people think Fort Stockton's way out west. Well, El Paso's even further out west. Yeah, and that's a long trip. But I say that to say we're welcoming the challenge. We're not gonna back down from anybody that we play. And the district itself is tough across the board because there's a lot of different dynamics. You've got the flex bone offense, you've got the wishbone offense. You've got some spread offenses spread throughout, and you've got multiple defensive looks. The defensive coordinator Monahan does a good job of mixing it up week by week, scheming people up, and that's an issue. And I'll tell you this: there's a rivalry between Monahan's and Fort Stockton.
Oh yeah, yes there is.
The records are out the window when it comes to that game. It's going to come down to who can execute and who can not flinch in those crucial situations, and it's a dogfight every time. And the same thing goes for Pecos. Another team in our district, it's a dogfight, because Monahans is 45 minutes or so away from Fort Stockton, and Pecos is 45 or so minutes away from Fort Stockton. So there is a rivalry there. And on those games, anybody can win on any night on those games. But we're going to work as hard as we can to be prepared for our district and be prepared each week to get after it and give and put our best product out there.
That's awesome. Hey, we're going to take a quick little break real quick. Just got to run these down and stuff, but I want to talk about Angela Walters over at Kerrville Remax. Hey, she's been selling the cell for over 15 years and better, and tell you what, she's going to help you out just fine. Curtex Motors, I mean, it don't matter if you live in Fort Stockton or not. Hey, these guys got some vehicles and stuff, and they, Andy Sanchez and those guys, they're going to take good care of you. Click on them, curtexmotors.com. And make that short drive from Fort Stockton or wherever to Kerrville. It's not that bad. And then, of course, we want to thank First Insurance Agency of the Hill Country. It's not just the Hill Country. Hey, they saved me $300, and this is no joke, $325 on auto insurance. All I did was just call them up. They found a place, and boom, that was that. And then the Carlson Law Firm with Amos Barton. I mean, if you've been injured in a car accident or anything like that, personal injuries is fine-tuned. He is the main guy right there. That's Carlson Law Firm with Amos Barton. All right, let's get a little bit into the segment. This is the one that I've been kind of waiting for here. And, of course, we put a little bit out there, for some people to kind of go, yeah. All right, Coach, I've been told that you might have some must-do pregame and game day traditions. So I have a few little questions here. Do you eat the same dinner dish on Thursday nights?
I do not eat the same dinner dish on Thursday nights. I do not.
Okay, so that scratches out that other one. What about a game day lunch, like, a same sandwich and chips or anything like that?
It just depends on how the season's going. Sometimes you win a big game and you eat a certain meal, and then the next week you do the same thing. So I can't say that that's not true, but I can't say that there's some specific, because there's been some years where my daughter and I kind of ate these HEB lunches every day, every Friday, because we won a big game. So we just kind of always had those together. So there's been years where that's happened. But I will say on game day, I do eat pretty light because I'm not nervous, but I have a lot going on in my mind.
Yeah,
is working. So I do eat light for the most part till after the game.
Now, do you have a game day Bible verse?
Man, I just, whatever our Bible study is that week, we do some Bible study stuff. So whatever that we are focusing on that week is something that I really look forward to when we're doing that. That's a great question, though, and that is something that comes into play quite a bit. But our devotional and our coaches outreach Bible study and those things that we do, that stuff does come into play for sure.
I have some more there, but Trey, if you got a question on something like this, man, go ahead.
I really don't. I mean, do you have do you wear the same socks on game day if you win the day before?
I will say that if
so basically, you got one piece of article of clothing that you just every game day, man. And no washing it.
No, there's washing. I'm gonna tell you right now, there's none that didn't get washed. But there's been years where I wear the same boxers, and I know I hate saying this on Facebook Live. I'm sorry, honey. The same boxers each week as we've gone through the season. I remember 2015 when we were undefeated, and it was kind of the same. We got to make sure these boxers are washed. Back to Trey's question, I either wear Under Armour or Nike socks. So if we win a game and I'm wearing the Under Armour socks, the next time I'll probably wear those Under Armour socks because I'm sure the socks that I wore had something to do with how well our kids performed. I just do that to myself. And I will tell you, as you said, you kind of put this out on Facebook today and Twitter, and I'm going to tell you, 2 coaches rung in on this, and they said white belt. So Coach Matt Garcia at Canyon High School, he texted me that, and Coach Jason Crawford, who's now at Midlothian Heritage, both chimed in on the white belt. And I do try to wear my white belt because I do think it brings us luck. That's there's not many games I don't have it.
That's awesome. Okay, now while you were in Kerrville at Kerrville Tivy, you became known around here as Mr. Intensity. I mean, there was a few quotes from some players and some coaches and even some people on the streets. So I'm going to read a couple of them just, for refreshing of memories here.
Okay.
When Coach Hickman was born, he drove his mom home from the hospital.
That's not even that's a fact.
I believe it.
How about when Coach Hickman works out, he doesn't get stronger, but the machine does.
Yeah, that was awesome.
And I saw that. I had to read some of it.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's so far from the truth.
Right. Hey, Death once had a near Coach Hickman experience.
Yeah.
And then this is my favorite one of all time, and I don't know, but it just kind of makes sense. Giraffes were created when Coach Hickman uppercutted a horse.
That's awesome. Yeah. The Mr. Intensity thing, is probably well earned and probably in a bad way. You guys have seen me coach and it's passionate is probably to say the least. And so some of these words that came about, and I don't know exactly who started all of those, but I'm gonna venture into Coach Ty Taylor and Chris Russ, Reese Zunker. Those guys probably started that. I'll tell you this though, if you remember the Bastrop game where we were down by a bunch of points and we came back and won, it was raining that game. And Coach Adam Brackeen, we came in and I don't wear a jacket or anything very often, but it was raining and I came in and I was dry as a bone. And Coach Brackeen was like, "How are you dry and everybody else is soaking wet?" And he goes, "You must be Mother Nature's dad." So I became Jeremy Hickman's Mother Nature's dad on that list of pictures up there. So that's where that one came from. So, I don't know where some of those came from. They did a great job with that, and they are funny, and none of them really are true. They're really not. My mom, that is not her favorite one.
No. Well, we've scratched that one. I know we're getting ready to have to take off and everything, but you're a humble guy. There's no question about that. And for us, we're honored just talking to you here tonight.
Shoot, I'm honored.
We've had some good conversations, and you kind of answered it a little bit, but in a way, kind of little baby stepped it. But what makes Coach Hickman, aka Mr. Intensity? What makes you Mr. Intensity?
Just my passion, and then my love for what I'm doing, my love for the kids. Ultimately, every single thing, when I come out there and coach and get after it, it's because I love those kids, whether it's softball, whether it was girls basketball, whether it's football, those things. I just love kids, and I love those. I want the very best out of the athletes that I'm coaching. And so that's where a lot of that comes from. And inside of me, I am a fierce competitor, and I don't like to lose. I don't like to underperform. And being like an overachiever myself and an underdog mentality, I feel like the edge is always energy, positive thinking, and just max effort on everything that we do. And so my intensity really is a passion and love for the kids. And this, if they could ever understand how much I care for them, they'd understand sometimes the way I act with some of those antics. It's just come from a love of kids. And I genuinely love the athletes that I coach, and they mean so much to me. I've learned so much from the athletes that I've coached and that I've been around, the coaches. And so all of it is kind of just a culmination of being who I am and as a player. And it just kind of evolved into who I am as a coach, but it really just comes down to love for the kids.
Well, you got to let Desi at least win some checkers at checkers every once in a while, right? I mean, you both are competitive.
Desi's the winner. She is the winner. I'll take that loss every day.
Well, Coach, thank you so much for joining us here on the Hill Country Sports Wrap-Up Show. This is our second episode, but officially you're the first. So,
I'm humbled to be here because, JR, you're well known across the state, and Trey is a sports fanatic and knows everything about every sport. And so for him and you guys to be able to communicate with me and ask me to be a part of this, it's very humbling, and I couldn't be more excited to speak with you guys.
I appreciate that.
Man. Yeah. Lord bless you.
Real quick. Just let everyone in Fort Stockton know who's watching this. I will be updating during JR's game of the week. Fort Stockton scores a long we are part of the Hill Country Nation family now, so you are going to get updated on Hill Country Radio and beyond. So just download the Gem Broadcasting app where you can listen to the Friday Night Lights Even Better show for that as well. And also Denise Crenshaw says, looking forward to the season, and she also wants you to wear that white belt every Friday.
We're going to get after it. I will tell you, Ray, and what you say is exactly right. I want to help. I talk to the kids about that. Put Fort Stockton on the map. We want to publicize what we're doing, and the kids are great here. We want the state to see how hard our kids are and how awesome our kids are. So that's what we're working on as well. So thank you for that.
Well, and when you're part of the family,
I know. We're gonna get you a flag.
Not just that. I don't know if you can see, but I got hats down there. I mean, I've got hats, T-shirts. We got to have T-shirts. We got to have that Panther stuff going, and not just for the Panthers, but the Prowlers too.
Yep, we'll take care of it.
There you go.
You got it.
Coach Hickman for the Fort Stockton Panthers. Mr. Intensity himself. How did they do that, man? I know what that was before. Welcome home, Coach. We appreciate y'all tuning in here for the Hill Country Sports Wrap Up here for episode number 2. Thank you so much. Click on us and like us here on Facebook. We got lots of around and beyond. There's a lot of things going on. All right, that's going to do it for us here. We appreciate you tuning in. And just remember, we out!